Howdy, so gold is the topic for the discussion right now. I don't know why I just fumbled over my own words right there, but I got them out somehow. So now we're going to be looking at gold and all the different gold assets that I've been watching and learning and figuring them out. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to cut that out or just let you see that weird ass side of me. So let's take a look here and let's get a little bit excited about some of these levels here that we're challenging right now. So if you have gold, I mean, you've been seeing we busted 1800, and that's something that, I mean, you're gonna start getting a little bit of excitement over. It's just inevitable when you play these games. And about 1826, I mean, if we have a monthly close in July or August above 1826 here, comparatively speaking to the USD, like I would say that's the first confirmation of a bull run here. And I mentioned briefly on my other video that gold is in all-time highs in relationship to most currencies across the world. It's this US dollar, it's doing very well in comparison to all these other fiat currencies. So when you look at the US dollar and gold, and when they're rising together upward, you don't see a big deviation of gold being worth more than US dollars. So that's why there's a little bit of that's why it's not apparent yet. You know, most people that are in precious metals are just like, how is it not like worth all the money in the world right now with all these different factors in the macroeconomic scale to look at? It's just like, how is it not worth more? Well, it is worth more in most of these countries that their currencies are inflating. And that's what gold and silver are meant to do, to act as a hedge against currency inflation, also as one of the best stores of value historically that you could ever own. So in these times of uncertainty, and you don't really know what the economy is going to do, and I mean, you see the stock market going up lately, which is, I mean, it's good. I mean, I'm not complaining. I mean, but it's not realistically, right? I mean, 40% employment, stock market booming. I mean, you have to wonder, how is that possible? Well, it's not because of just normal business. It's not a good reflection of the middle class economy or the lower class economy. It's only the people with the millions and the big money are profiting the most at this time. Let's just agree on that. But let's not get too philosophic, and let's just look at what we're seeing here. We got a cup that's almost fulfilled, right? We almost have a cup, a handle, and a blast off. And I mean, that's what we might be seeing. We see the slow, steady march on the monthly time frame. We don't see any approximation of these two lines. It seems like we're just going to keep on marching up. I wouldn't be surprised if we have a little bit of a consolidation in this area before we finally go up. It's not perplexing to think that perhaps it might come up here and stop for a moment, have a little retracement, then go. But I'm sure not selling my gold positions. I mean, it's just a matter of time. It's how long is it going to be before we have this next little run? It's not if, it's when. So even with the next potential wave of COVID and stuff, I mean, I can't see this having a huge dip because people are starting to sense that gold and silver are going to be the safe havens during these times of uncertainty. Cash is also a great position to hold, but I'm using gold as silver as my indicators to invest in different subsidiaries of gold and silver. And I did this before too. In the marijuana market, I picked a few companies, and I picked a bunch of companies that were related to each other so that I would have some different indicators on how my other stocks were doing. So looking at gold and silver, if you look at the performance of gold, you can basically make better estimations about what gold mining will do. And gold is a little bit more of a big trillion-dollar industry versus some of these mining companies are, in the millions. So there's a lot more potential for percentage gain when you look at these mining stocks. And when you look historically during the previous bull runs of gold and silver, the mining stocks do very well in the first initial phase of it. So that's where we are, right? We're in this first initial phase. And when people start foaming at the mouth, there's gains to be made in the mining community. So I'm going to be definitely looking at that and trying to capitalize on some of these gains. And you can see here, you can see we're obviously moving in the right direction. Now, will we get stomped out here with some type of huge global news? We'll see, right? But for me, these are some of the most undervalued things that you can own right now versus a lot of things are overvalued. What's overvalued, Jared? Well, I don't know, maybe Tesla stock. I mean, even Elon himself says, "Hey, don't buy me. I'm at an estimation that doesn't make any sense." So it's not like you're buying something at the very top of the peak right here. So back to gold. Most people never sell their gold. They buy it, they hold it, and sometimes they trade their gold for silver. But right now, silver is the more enticing asset in comparison to gold when you view the gold to silver ratio. And now it's about 100 to 1. Maybe it's a little bit less or more, but at one point in the last few months, gold was about 125 to 1, which means 1 ounce of gold could buy you 125 ounces of silver, which is pretty historically high. I think that's the highest it's ever been historically. The lowest it's been would be about 15 to 1. So 1 ounce of gold will buy you about 15 ounces of silver. So, I guess, I don't know if that's good or bad to you, but most people that are the precious metal sharks, they're mostly just purchasing silver because it's so undervalued. But regardless, nations themselves usually need to buy gold, and they're going to be looking at gold first. And there's a reason that gold is king. And gold is usually the first mover too, so gold's done a lot more well. That's a poor language, but yeah. Gold's done much better in terms of reaching its all-time highs here. Silver is definitely down in this phase still. It's still got a double up and a half, It's at $18, all-time high of 50. Gold is hovering within a few percentages of breaking out of its all-time high and getting into the next global bull run. Gold is not a Canadian or North American asset. This is a world asset, so that is something that you can keep in mind too. And your gold, if you lived in different countries, would be a lot more valuable in relationship to the currency that you would have had. But in North America, we just haven't had it as bad as other places. So that's why you don't see gold going right through the roof. And that's my 2 cents on that. Now, which other gold companies am I personally involved in that maybe you can take a look? Well, I'm not really going to be suggesting that you buy these, but just to look at some of this stuff to make my point of how the core asset can give you ideas about the subsidiary potentials, right? So pure gold mining was one of the assets. One of my buddies was doing a lot of work on that, and I just seen this nice consolidation pattern. And then with all the stuff I talk about gold and silver, for me, it's like those are risks that you can't not take. When you see a huge consolidation like that, and I just played that breakout, and it didn't even challenge it back, and it just shot off to the races. So for me, my plan right now, because you have to have a plan in case things turn the wrong way, is I'm going to exit out if it just completely changes momentum, because we've had quite a substantial run here from 38 cents to now over 220. I'm pretty amazed by how well this is done. So pulling up the weekly here, usually I do have these stair-stepper kind of fallouts here because I don't want to just let this march all the way back down to zero, hey? I want to secure some of the profits, so we're still moving up here. There's no reason to cower out of this stock. You can see we're curling up, man, so I have to see a negative day at least on the daily for me to be shooken out of this, and I think they just found more gold. So this is an exploring company, and they've just it's been lucky, I have to admit. Sometimes you get lucky, but when you make the educated trades, it's nice, right? So right here, 160% gain in the last couple months. Pretty happy about that. And it's not like these aren't trading like ridiculous volumes. When you look at it, 1.9 million, 1 million, 3 million, 500,000. I'm just looking right here. So I don't really like getting involved with stuff without a little bit of liquidity. And but the thing is, when there's small liquidity, you can get big gains. But yeah, either way, pure gold mining. It's tough to say buy at this top right now. But yeah, it's on your radar now, and maybe it has a little pullback. Who knows, right? But keep in mind, like these mining stocks can do well when gold and silver start performing, and when they start breaking out. It's kind of just like, yeah, they're nice connections to make. So let's look at the next one here. I never can remember this ticker, so I always just got to type in Victoria. So here's Victoria Gold. I think it was somewhat of the same. So I did this little cup here, since I see that most of the gold and silver on the precipice of getting into the gold market. I just played this little cup. So there's a little cup right here, and I played if it broke up to the upside. And I bought and sold this once or twice just because I think I bought it right here, and then this wick came down and I sold it, and then it broke it up again, and I was like, okay, I'm not letting this waste. And I bought back in. So now we're above this line here, and it's a nice 30-40% gain, and that's how you can just play these breakouts. You can just say, hey, there's a cup right there. I have the rationale. I mean, you can just put the buy order, and hopefully you buy and it just kind of blows up and it doesn't ever challenge that again, and then you can just keep the raising stop loss, or you can pick and choose when you want to exit out of these things. But I'm pretty happy. I mean, I got in this one. Like I said, I bought and sold twice, so there is the commission of $9.99 for my trading app, which kind of sucks, but that's just it. I mean, when I'm buying riskier assets, I don't want to just let my head out of there to get hanged in case I make a wrong decision, which is completely possible, right? So you can see I was drawing a little bit more lines because I was a little bit more nervous when I was playing this one, and just making sure that we could hold some type of support and we didn't have a big crash down. So yeah, I think I bought in right here, and then I came back down, and then I bought back in, and then we've been up ever since. So there's no reason for me to sell off this one. We can see we're just starting to raise up right here. The weekly, we're still marching right ahead, so I'll have to see some type of change in direction for me to get too upset, and it's nice when you see that big pivot back up. Some of the things with these mining stocks is that, yeah, we're not at the all-time highs like some of these other things, which is, there's some resistance still to have here, and we're kind of challenging this general level here, but yeah, I'll be pretty happy if we can somehow discover more gold and get on these runs. So it's nice when you can get on these curves at the bottom and ride these waves up. So right here it was a little cup, the same idea, handle up, nice. It had a little fallout right there, but regardless, with these stocks, remember, I'm not playing these like I'm holding them forever. These are swing trades, and they're based off of the gold and silver price. So we can easily draw, let's say, just a general downward trend line right there and say, hey, I don't want to see this thing going below this, not one little bit. For me, like, yeah, I'll be out of this asset if it turns around. All these assets, I'm out if they turn around. So if we start seeing this to start curling the back way, I'm going to take my 30-40% profit and be happy with it. But regardless, I think you see the premise of what I'm showing you, right? It's a cup and handle kind of trade the breakout, and you can just have these trades sitting here waiting. And this is a little bit more swing trading, but yeah, the gold mining, they have volatile moves. They're not just straight steady up and buy and forget. You got to be there, you got to play. But there's a lot of profit to be made when gold and silver are challenging their all-time highs, and yeah, it's something to at least be. It's not really beginner trading, to be honest. But if you like trading, there's something where there's actually legitimate value to your risk. Here's one that I got. I bought and sold out of this one, but here's another one I was kind of watching. Not as good. Well, let me see here. Let's pull it up on the month. So yeah, you can see, look at this big crater of a cup. I mean, I don't know what that means, but yeah, imagine if you would have bought that at 5 cents. I mean, that's why I don't even understand some of these, how they can go down so far, and everyone gives up, and then 5 cents to $20, like, geez. But yeah, with this one, you can see the same general idea. So at that 1850, I did buy it. I bought it, and then it went up, and it didn't just pop like I wanted it to, and then it came back down, and now it's kind of hovering. But this one right here, this definitely might be another thing you can jump on again. Like, if I see this, I don't have any more money to invest, but this isn't like the worst idea either. Like, maybe this has some retracing to do, because it is a little bit higher up on this thing, and it had quite the run here. Like we said, 5 cents to $20, quite the darn run. So I'm a little bit more hesitant with this one, and when I start looking, I do see the notorious split stock, which I don't really like. I mean, now, if they do it all the time, there's 1, 2, yeah, I mean, when I see those splits, that's what I think. I just was like, okay, I'm out of this one. But yeah, GBR, Great Bear Resources, I mean, you would have been laughing if you would have made that one, right? at the start, and it's challenging all-time highs. So that's something that I am keeping an eye on out of the side of my eye. What else we got here? We got TML. We got Treasury Metals. So this is one, I did buy into this one, but it was just like a minuscule amount. I mean, so here, I have a warning to myself. Be wary of trend reversal. It's at a pivotal point for breakout or rejection. So usually you don't know exactly what it's going to do, but you know it's going to do something. And that's where you kind of just set your margins and hope and pray. So right here, on the monthly time frame, I guess this doesn't look so apparent to why I would have bought it. I mean, you could say that it's progressing on the momentum scale. We had a nice little separation right here with the MACD. And this was another one of my friend recommending this one here. So nice steady weekly march. But we are at this pivotal point right there. I'd like to see why I bought this a little bit more. Because I think I bought it at 44 cents or something. But again, it was only like $400. So this was like a very minimal one, but another one, just another mining stock. A lot of these ones too, we could say that they're still in this downward trend, so to speak, right here. So it wouldn't be crazy if this kept within here and just kind of played out, which is kind of a little bit more concerning when you're looking for breakouts. This one's not as clear. I'm not as confident in this one personally now that I'm looking at it. You can see that rounding, but it did have a nice pop there. So we'll see what this does, you know, like depending on what gold and silver do, you just never know, right? I mean, this thing could shoot right up, have unbelievable gains, but that's where I never put all my berries in one basket, hey? Because believe me, you can get screwed. You can see all the ones that you would have picked go up all these percentages, and all of a sudden it just helps mitigate your risk. I'm almost gonna have to think here. What other assets do I have? Besides just the obvious ones. I mean, I do have the CEF, which is the Sprott and Gold Trust. I mean, it pretty much mimics gold. Like it's because gold is way more. Gold's 9 trillion, silver's 43 million or billion. You can look that. Probably billion. Yeah, probably billion. I'm just thinking there. But yeah, that's why I think it just mimics the price of gold more or less. So I have that one as well. I know my buddy likes, let's look at Alexco. I think I did the American one by accident. Let's just go on here. Guys, I want to see really quick if it's gold or silver. So here we have this one. It's mostly silver, lead, and gold. So yeah, this is another mining company. I don't know if that means jack shit when you see that, but let's see what's going on here. So on the monthly time frame, just kind of more or less, there's potential, but there's nothing clear in my estimation. I don't have this one personally. I know my buddy just bought it. He likes it. It's well within his right to like it. I could say, yeah, we're definitely forming somewhat of an ascending triangle here, which is a bullish pattern. And yeah, you could say right here, there's definitely enticement here. Now, did I click on that frickin' US one? Because I think I did. Yeah. So yeah, that's what's going on here. So I might have done some other type of analysis here. I got kind of an ascending wedge, and then I have the downward trend line here. It looks better when I just do the the ascending triangle there, but this is another one here that he's looked at. I haven't that much, but some of these companies are reliant on if they find more gold or silver, and then that's what jumps them off the chart. So right in here, I mean, I got so many damn lines, it's not even, you can't even tell what the hell's going on. Back out of here. So yeah, we want to bust through this short-term trend here. I mean, I don't know how much I respect that. So yeah, if you can bust out of here, just like everything, you know, right? We can see we're at the pinnacle here, and I mean, what's the right line? I don't know what I would be waiting for with this one, but I know he got in, but he doesn't. I don't always understand his entry points, but regardless, he seems to be doing pretty well, so I respect that. You could say right here there was a little cup, and we kind of busted through and broke down, but this one isn't quite as enticing for me. I mean, it looks like it is marching up still. It's a nice little pivot right there to the positive, but we'll see if it can break over this area here. Might be something to keep a half squinted eye on. I feel like I'm missing something, so just apologize in advance. I'm just gonna pull up this little thing here and see if I see anything. Oh yeah, okay, there's one other one here that I want to take a look at. Yeah, let's look at some of those big ass mining ones too. So we're gonna look at this one here, KL. This is one that I'm not buying in yet, but I've had a half eye on this one, and I sometimes you turn your eye for a bloody second and these things just start going up, hey? But yeah, Kirkland has had a historical amazing run. When you look at the good old 5 cent to $70, it's just like preposterous. But flattening this out a little bit, I was waiting for some type of retracement down here. Pretty gross in terms of clarity, but it looks like this has got to be back on my radar here, because if it breaks 67.85, well, we're off to all-time highs again here with Kirkland. And I kind of wanted a little bit more of like a cup there, right? But sometimes you don't get what you want, and I don't know why the heck this came out of nowhere, but yeah, Kirkland there approximating all-time highs, which is always it's always juicy in my eyes when that happens. That's starting to turn into one of my favorite plays. If this can just come in here and consolidate, you darn right, I'm putting a stop limit buy in there, and I'll risk the $10 buy in and sell every day for, you know, those 150% gains. Like, those are just, they're hard to come by. So there's Kirkland Lake Gold, and one other thing here. Let's do Barracks, because I haven't even looked at this one. But since we're rapid firing all these, let's do Barracks and take a look at where it's at on the month. And yeah, you can see here we're in that ascending wedge and that downward pattern as well. We can see we're kind of building up steam. We got a pretty good little bull run going on right here. And where's the next level of resistance? Well, it's actually looking pretty good. Looks like we're coming right around here, the $33 mark. Yeah, I mean, the big breakout point would be about $55, but sometimes people don't want to wait that long. Sure would have been nice behind Barrick down here at $5-6. Wow. That'd be a little bit ahead of the market, that's for sure. But let's zoom this in a little bit more on a weekly time frame. You can see it's struggling to break back up to the upside. So I could imagine, you could see all these lines here intersecting. Barrick, just as much as anything, will do well if gold can break through some of these initial plateaus that it's halted at. So Barrick could be, if you like Barrick, you like Barrick. If you like some of these smaller ones that I'm bringing up, those got way more potential. These ones, the hell did I bring up here? Newport. I wanted Newmont, that's what it was. Alright, Newmont. Let's do the Canadian for fun. That doesn't look like that's real life. Okay, let's look at the US one. So here's more like a realistic set of data. I like this one kind of better than Barrick, to be honest. Like, Barrick's just kind of all cliffhanger. Right here, we're kind of approximating this last high in the last decade or so. So when you last 20 years. So we have one other prior high. Man, could you believe it was back in 87, the year I was born? Man, is this a premonition? But yeah, look at that. I guess that's got that all-time high right about there. But this is probably the one that you'd want to look in relativity, and we are pretty close to it. So this might be another good play, especially if we can see some, either if it consolidates here before 71 or consolidates here below 81. This Newmont looks pretty good, actually, to me, and it's a pretty big company, and I guess take it or leave it. I mean, I've heard different people do analysis and comparison of Newmont versus Barrick, and they like Newmont better because it wasn't tied to potentially nationalized mines where the companies or the countries, let's say, could force the mining companies to sell them the gold for a fixed rate because of some type of national, security reason. So I don't like that possibility when you're investing in overseas countries, and who knows what the legislation is regarding that. Now, I thought I might have just forgot something. I think that's everything. It was a little bit longer than I wanted to, but those are a couple different mining stocks that I've been looking at, or exploration stocks. And if you guys know some good ones, let me know, because these are the ones I'm playing right now. This is the market I'm playing in the most, and gold and silver I'm using as the determining factor to see how bullish or bearish I am for these other mining stocks. And I think there's some profit to be made in the mining market before the gold and silver market really pop off. And know when you're playing the mining companies, these aren't just progressive steady holds up. I mean, you could say maybe in Newmont we have a pretty good progression upward from, historically this is usually a pretty positive chart. So that's what we could say. You could see that huge bull run, and we're going through a bigger correction right here. But mining stocks aren't ones that you want to forget for 10 years. Like, these are more swing tradable assets, and you can make good money here. But yeah, I guess, I don't know, maybe I'm going to shoot myself in the leg. I mean, this, I guess, is trending up. If you don't look at it in enough time, you can just be like, oh, it's going down, it's going down. But yeah, that's my thing on gold. A little bit more on the gold than the silver. But yeah, we'll cut this one off right here. And we're going to do two other ones. We're going to do a quick one with the 5G, then a quick one with the biotech stuff that I don't know much. But this is this one. All right, have a good day. Bye-bye.